Okay, hello. Uh, right now, or in this video, I will be casting my own matches in the recent fall tournament into Fentail, and I will be explaining my thought process during the matches and my thoughts on why I lost, why I won, and how I could have won when I lost. Okay, let's get into the first match. Okay, here is Rush, the first boss, and I'm here. So, let's follow my commander. First, of course, the challenge for this boss was basically I had to pick one out of 4 decks. I picked this one because it had snakes against, which are good against tier 2s and tier 3s. Good defense in the MG moles for rushing or just sneaky stuff, and a good squirrel, but every deck had squirrel, so that wasn't really a motivation for me to pick this deck. Standard opening, 8 farms, no one rushed for anything. For context, I haven't played this game for 4 years. This was my first match. Actually, I joined the tournament to well, nobody basically plays ranked, or not during my time, so the reason I joined the tournament was to actually get into some games for the first time in the last 4 years. Well, calm game in the beginning. I started building warrants because just for defense, a classic opening, and just scouting. Nothing interesting. Let's speed this up. Whoops. Yeah. See this? This is my big mistake. Not only a mistake, it was a good move actually. What I was thinking, I place the mole warren there and let 3 moles build up. And in the meantime, I will be posturing with my squares in the front, so he doesn't scout the back of his base, right? But I totally miss my crowd, and as you can see, I keep rallying all of the moles, or my whole army, instead of rallying just squirrels. I did not have yet any muscle memory developed for this, so this was a big mistake. I should have paid attention to the keys. I was pressing the wrong keys, man. After that engagement, which went pretty well for my enemy, especially considering my attrition against these cabins, I finally decide to go to the moles and oops. Right, see, this is what I wanted to do. I wanted to wait for the moles, right? And then I would, god damn it. Well, that was my original plan, right? I wanted to get those moles together, snipe some picks, but well, I did snipe 1 pick, and I managed to sell the warrant, so I guess it was a net worth was like in my favor. At least it would have been if I hadn't rallied all those moles to their deaths. Just scouting then. We are both getting our second base saturated. I went to clean up those cabins and bought the campfire to get some more food, and for them to also serve as advanced scouting. Basically, we would try to flank me. His army would first have to destroy the campfire or go around it. It's a big investment, 60 food for just scouting, but it gives you food in return, so I'd say it's worth it. Now I'm scouting his army composition. I don't see really anything interesting. Now the reason I bought that mill was I thought he would, go for it, destroy the mill, Well, actually, the first reason, first I thought I'm gonna take a sneaky mill, gonna build some MGs, and I could flank him from that side, and he would not be able to dislodge me, because I would have fortified position. But then on my mini-map, I noticed he scouted it, right? So I was like, I have to attack now, because he will be out of position. And as you see, I was right, he sent his chameleons, which allowed me to basically decimate his army, and also to snipe the artillery he was building, which went pretty well for me. I actually thought I was doing pretty, not really well, but I thought I was doing pretty poorly in the fight, but that is because all the poison from the snakes it has a long-lasting effect, and so the chameleons would basically turn invisible and then die. That is why I basically thought I was doing pretty poorly, because I just thought all the chameleons survived always. But as you can see, they keep dying. We keep trading pretty evenly, I'd say. Yeah, just trades, nothing interesting. My mill is still alive. I tried for a flank right here. Yeah, I thought about flanking his army, but that was just a bad idea. I was totally out of position. My whole army was basically in a long string, so they didn't engage at one time, and I got basically totally decimated. Well, that was basically the defeating move for me. He has a way bigger army, a bigger economy slightly, and well, I thought he was totally going to attack, that's why I started building those machine guns, but he backs off. I think he could have killed me, but you know, in StarCraft we have a saying, when you're ahead, get more ahead, and that is what he is basically doing. I'm building a lot of farms because that is a way for me to get back into the game by being greedy. And I put my army here. I was constantly doing this, just placing my army in the middle of nowhere. That's not really a good idea, especially considering if I had to retreat, I would have to walk through water, which would basically be a death sentence for my army. I should not be posturing so much with it. Let's speed this up until some action happens again. I bought these campfires just for some extra income, you know. As you can see, I'm actually ahead by a little bit in income, so I start buying more units. As you can see, he's steering heavily into tier 2, which, if you don't know, 2 hits from a chameleon can kill 1 squirrel, and a chameleon hits 2 times per second. So his chameleons can basically kill my whole squirrel count in 3 seconds, which is, well, yeah. I never realized chameleons are so strong just in a straight up battle. I didn't yet know how the units interacted because I didn't play for so long. So yeah, if I knew that, I would have tacked more into snakes, which is basically what I'm doing right now. Here you can see me going with those snakes for a flanking maneuver. I teleport back to build some farms, to build some farms on this mill, because I know I can just teleport back to the campfire and continue my assault a little bit later. In retrospect, I suppose that was a mistake, because a rush got on and basically got my snakes, which you know, I could have perhaps destroyed that mill and won the game, but instead I was focusing on unimportant stuff. As you can see, my army is again completely disjointed. Half of it stayed by the warrant, and it just takes a long time for them to go back. A lot of his pigeons are also healing his chameleons, which basically nullifies the poison damage. But yeah, at this point I'm completely dead. I just tried building some MGs, but yeah, this is a GG. Now for the second game against Rush. Let me just set it up. I choose the same deck because, well, if I just micro the snakes correctly, I can get a lot of stacks on those snakes, which actually kills them pretty effectively, especially in low numbers. So yeah, well, let's watch what I do. Just a classic full saturation first. Nobody's doing anything sneaky. I could go with a mole rush, but I didn't really know how to mole rush, and there also isn't any good position where I would basically place my mole warrens, so mole rush would not be really effective. Just classic 2 warrens for safety. I scout his mill. Yeah, this was a mistake. I thought about posturing on the high ground right there in front of this central mill, but that would of course I luckily changed my mind and called back my squirrels. But as you can see, all my squirrels hang out by the campfire instead of being at home where they would be safer basically. I'm not sure how I should position my army, but they're on the low ground now, and I don't think that is the best idea to have them somewhere where they... well, basically, I have them positioned in such a way where I do not receive the defender's advantage from my pigs or even the high ground. I'm posturing with my army again. I don't know what I'm doing. Completely... such bad army movement, man. Now I think about attacking, you know, I have a pretty big force, I'd say. Of course, bigger than the enemy, or it will soon be bigger than the enemy. You know, get a campfire to get some extra income. And I try poking at the enemy. I noticed that he has a lot of squirrels, basically. So I start retreating. But this retreat was absolutely catastrophic. I went through the water, and that allowed the enemy to pick a lot of my units away, right? The army was right behind me, so I wasn't even able to build machine guns, and he just destroyed me. He just outmaneuvers me and destroyed my economy. I lost so much food right here. Look, let's look at the graph. Yeah, look at the army value. Actually, it's pretty even. Never mind then, never mind. But you can see I lost a big amount of income. Damn. Oops. Okay. Yeah, and then this is another stupid mistake. I sent all of my army here to destroy that campfire. Right enemy is attacking. So my army was completely out of position to defend against the enemy. Maybe I could have won with that MG, but not like this. And now he destroys my army for the second time, and yeah, my reinforcements are just not enough, and he just destroys me. Now we skip to the second boss. Now we go to the second boss. Yep. I'll make the first game fast because there wasn't a lot of things happening, right? So just for some context, the second boss, the rules were you cannot sell anything, and the first one you can win either by, you know, classically just killing your opponent's windmills, or by gathering 1000 food and leaving the game. Well, I thought, right? Let's look at the math. 1000 food, that is basically 32 squirrels and enough warrens to basically be able to build the 32 squirrels, right? So I was like, if you can build so many army, you can just win with the army, right? So I am thinking it's a red herring, the 1000 food, because the guy who goes for that strategy will just lose to the opponent's army, right? So I'm like totally ignoring that rule, because I think it's just a red herring, you know, put it there by the boss to basically, it's a trap option. It's a trap option. Anyone who goes for that basically loses, right? Well, let's see how the game goes. My opponent's building lizards, right? I'm just building swirls, expanding. The map is really huge, so no, there isn't really There isn't a chance of any attacks happening this early in the game. Two. Right, I'm just building up army, you know, nothing interesting. I start building some tier 2s, preparing an army for an attack, right? I catch his army, catch his lizards, and he retreats with them. As I scout, I catch his lizards here. I'm thinking, wow, this is so easy, right? I basically, you know, managed to put my army in place here to defend in time. And I'm thinking, wow, he has such a small... Or I'm thinking so well about myself right now. I'm feeling so good, you know. I defended him. I defended both of his flanking attacks. Wow, I'm doing so well, right? Just building more squirrels, skunks, you know. I'm about to attack, right? About to launch my attack. And then he leaves because he just got a 1000 food. Lizards, man, that was such a good delay tactic. That was such a good delay tactic. And I just, yeah. I just should have attacked sooner, but of course then he could have base traced me and... Well, it's a hard option. I just totally forgot he could go for that victory condition during the game, so I didn't even try of stopping him or just attacking him preemptively. Let's go to game 2 with our second boss. Now I will be careful to not let him get to so much food so early in the. Well, I will just make sure he won't be able to get 1000 food this game. You know, just big maps again. A little bit more open this time than previously. As I scout, right, I see that the opponent doesn't have a close expansion. And I noticed that the one in top right, top left I mean, top left is the only available expansion for him. So I know he will either try to attack me early, or he will try to do just, well, I know that if he is going to expand, he will have to expand to probably that base, because any other base is just too exposed. I start building some warrants in this corner in hopes that they will go unscouted, you know, they're a little bit out of the way. I scout his warrants, I see that we have an equal army. I still try to get something done with my lizards, but I see that his squirrels are already built, so I just retreat. And I get an expansion because I know that my squirrels would be able to beat my lizards would be able to beat his squirrels on the defensive, so with the mill tanking, so I just expand and yeah. Just keep building lizards and farms in equal amount. Yeah, I'm going around that way, and I noticed that that he built that farm with gristmill with farms. So I just tap once to send my lizards there, and I continue my scouting run, knowing that I will be able to burrow back and call my lizards in case of basically in case of an attack, or in case he manages to respond to my attack on his gristmill. Of course, he's totally out of position now. He's actually taking the fire camp, the cabin, to take a camp, the fireplace, fire camp thingy. I don't know, he's here. He sees me destroying his gristmill, and he's like, I have to attack now, right? Because I know his army is out of position. Now look, I see on my minimap, right, where my lizards are. So I make sure to first bunch them up, my northern attacking force and my warren reinforcements force, because before I engage with the squirrels, so that he doesn't defeat me in detail. And as you can see, it works out pretty well. We tried pretty evenly, but I win. I destroy his camp place on my way to his attack, and I buy an additional warrant to spend my money, and I continue my attack. He just taps out after this fight, knowing he doesn't have the economy to continue fighting. Now, I basically played these 4 matches back to back. I played the Rush on Saturday and the Snesnace or whatever his name is. I totally forgot. This guy's matches on Saturday, and I practice only against the AI before I fought against this guy. Well, now I have only 1 life left. Well, and I'm thinking, if I actually want to beat the next boss, I actually have to practice and study upon the enemy. So basically what I did, I was sent some messages asking about his playstyle, about my opponent's playstyle, right? Kolaru's playstyle. And I asked a lot about my opponent's playstyle. I got a bunch of, people told me he's very, very chaos kind of player. He does random strategies, very unpredictable, right? And from the replays I watched of him, of his previous, in his previous tournaments, he likes to use artillery a lot, both kinds, both the Dramkaran and the ferrets, and he also likes to use foxes. So in the banning stage, right, I chose 3 lots to ban, meaning that the boss could ban 5 lots against me, and I chose to ban lizards and fox, you know, so he couldn't be annoying. I also banned the drumfire cannon and ferrets and moles. So I basically banned all of the strategies I knew he was good at, and well, let's see how this works out for me. Because I had all my units banned, or so many units banned, I chose this deck, which is actually a deck I would have chosen normally, except instead of pigeons I would have used squirrels, and instead of skunks I would have used maybe ferrets, or maybe just skunks too. I am not sure what I would have picked. Anyways, I have this deck, right? Still playing as common folk. Just a standard opening, 5 farm, 6 farm, 8 farm, yeah, 8 farm opening. Nothing interesting. I noticed there is this pathway, the main pathway basically, through the middle of the map, and this side pathway through the water where he could attack. I'm just building units for just building units. Nothing extra, just expansion. I see he's building more units instead of expansions, right? So I come back, match his Warren count, and yeah, just keep buying more farms, buy an extra farm to be... Oh, now I see that he's buying a lot of warrants, right? So I'm like, damn, he's preparing an attack. I have to do something to counter it. I sell my farm, buy 2 warrants to match his amount, and to build a few... some wire to prevent his attack against my main mill, knowing that if he attacks from the other side, I would have the tanking advantage from this mill on the bottom. Yeah, he goes into an attack. I'm only 2 squirrels behind, right? And a bunch of his squirrels are still rallying, so I just win the battle completely. Absolutely crush it. Let's look at the graph. Yeah, he's absolutely destroyed, right? I just invested into economy because when you're ahead, you get more ahead. Yeah, I launch an attack of my own, I think. No, I retreat, you know. No reason to risk it, although I maybe could have won. But right. But our squirrel counts was actually pretty even. I sell off my barbed wire and buy more squirrels, right? Mass squirrel is always good. Always good unless you're going against skunks. I buy some skunks of my own because I know that the enemy has a lot of squirrels, you know. Just basic counters. Buy some barbed wire knowing that he doesn't have any melee units, because I banned them all basically. Yeah, just a classic game. I'm still scouting if he's expanding, knowing he has to spend his money on something, and yeah, I see that he has a mill with more farms than me. So I just well, I saw that he had some skunks, right? So now I'm buying snakes to counter his skunks, and so that I don't get countered as hard if I was buying squirrels. I retreat beyond the river, so he doesn't crush me with the gas. But I attack through the river anyways. That was a very bad move. All of my squirrels die basically in that attack. Let's look at the graph. Yeah, I am. My army. Yeah, it like my army value dropped by almost half. That wasn't really the best attack. I put my skunks. Well, I just micro the army so that it doesn't die. Nothing extra. I saw that he dropped a few mines on the bottom, which I remember that, so I know that I will have to rebuild them later. Yeah, and right now I'm trying to rebuild them. Also, as you noticed, I sold a lot of squirrels again to get into snakes, because snakes counter tier 2 and tier 3 units, and his skunks would counter my squirrels, so basically I'm changing the counters around. Right, I try to clear out some mines. Of course, there's a few unrevealed mines, which kill a few of my squirrels, right? Which makes me nervous on continuing my attack. I chill now, you know. I chill out for a while, expand a little bit more, build a few more farms. Now, the opponent scouted, right, that I don't have many squirrels. And, well, I continue building more snakes, because I know that the enemy... Okay, look at this interplay. My opponent scouted that I didn't have squirrels, right? So many squirrels, at least. So he sold one of his skunk warrants, right? Now I go onto the attack, yeah? And I notice he doesn't have that many skunks, only 2, right? So I am thinking, because I went into snakes, he stopped going for skunks. And because is trying to counter my snakes with his burst damage falcons. And I see that because he doesn't have skunks and has falcons, that I should build squirrels to counter him. Which is basically what I wanna do. I will sell off my skunk warren, I think, and build a few more squirrels, or... Yeah, see what I'm doing there? That this is what the game is about. You have to sell and adapt to the opponent's strategies. I'm feeling pretty well right now about myself, you know. I just crashed, well, I'm in a stable position, right? I feel like I'm in a stable position right now. I'm not in really super danger. I'm scouting his backlines, knowing that he could be hiding some tier 3 warrants or something. And I was right. He was hiding wolf, right? I don't know how big it's close to his building, but I know that when the enemy has invested a lot of food, you should attack the enemy, you know. So you can basically attack him before he gets his power spike. Luckily for me, my snakes were leading the attack, meaning that they soaked up a lot of mine damage instead of my squirrels getting killed. Well, and let's look at this battle, how it will go. I'm basically just mashing the army button to basically try to kite, and I somehow managed to defeat the enemy before his wolf comes in. And when he comes in, he doesn't have any army left, so, well, yeah, he's basically dead at this point. Also, one of the reasons I think I won is that he invested heavily into his... he sold off his squirrels and invested into falcons, while I did the opposite and sold my skunks and invested into squirrels. And because squirrels build faster than tier 2s, I basically... my transition was faster, and I was able to hit him before all of his falcons were on the field, giving me an additional advantage, basically. Yeah, I just win. And now let's look at my final match against Heartseed. Well, Where is it? Yeah, replace. Stage 4, even more. So, when looking at the rules, right, you cannot borrow. Meaning that cheeses are actually very effective, you know, like 2 farm Warren, 4 farm or 5 farm, 2 Warren attacks would be pretty effective, because even if you scout it, it's going to take so long before you come home that you're basically dead. And same with mole rushes, right? You scout the enemy, you see that he has 4 farms, and by the time you get back, you're basically dead from all the moles, or at least behind enough. Well, you cannot respawn fast enough, right, to win, to defend it against such an attack. So I know that he can do such a thing, such a rush. So, but well, let's just see how it goes, right? Let's just see how it goes. Just scouting, you know. I see he's building 5 farms, you know, just playing a normal game, right? Nothing extra. I come back home, you know, still scouting the map, and I'm like, boom, build a farm, build a farm. That's a mistake, right? I know that rushes are effective. Then why do I not build a safety warren? It's you will not be far behind when you build a safety warren, right? It's just like what, 10 seconds worth of farm building time you're behind. That's only 10 food. That's nothing critical, right? I should have built a safety farm layer here, because let's see what happened, right? He sees me going back, boom, builds a farm warren, builds a mole warren, right? I see that he has nothing, right? So I go back, I try to sell my farm, right? Because I know an attack is coming. And oh yeah, right, see? I see that he has a mole. I build some barbed wire, right, to defend. And I build 2 warrens. Now what I should have done is build the warrens down, a little bit more down at these 2 spots at the bottom. Because at these 2 spots at the bottom, because that is because they would be protected from the moles at least a little bit by my pigs. Instead I leave them here on the corner where I do not have any pigs built, so the moles can basically attack my warrens without any retaliation, which is exactly what he will do basically. A few of his moles get, you know, shot on. He just gets me, man. He heals up his moles and just comes in and just attacks my pigs, man, and he just wins because I don't have any army, because he forced me to sell those warrens because he could just destroy them, man. And yeah, that's it over. That's it, man. That's it for me. He's just so far ahead right now. I am building 2 farms. He's just building more warrens. I'm building more warrens, but he still has 3 of his moles left, meaning his army advantage is even bigger than you think. I see his big army approaching. I have only 5 of his squirrels built, and well, he just overwhelms me and crushes me, man. What a defeat, right? What a defeat. He just outplayed me, right? I had the meta knowledge to predict this strategy, but he just... Well, I didn't pay enough attention. I should have been more careful. Well, now you know how the games went for me, why I lost, and my mindset during those games. It shows that you should think more about what you're going to do before you do it, right? If I actually thought consciously about having to build, prepare a defense against the rush strategy instead of just thinking, I knew that rush strategies are going to be strong, but I just didn't do anything about it, right? I thought that I would just scout it, but well, this just shows that you should prepare your meta strategies even before you enter the game. Well, that's it for this video, I guess. I hope you can learn from my mistakes, and improve your own gameplay. Arrivederci. Do svidania. Spokojnú noc. Veritas vincit.